After today's race, we will be 2/3 of the way through the Turkey Hill Truck Series season here in 2024, which means only 7 races remain until we crown a champion on Christmas Day. And the season is closing down fast. We are here at the Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. You need to have a good truck to win this race here today, and guess what? One of the best teams in the series has locked out the front row, but it's 20 laps of action here and a cycle of pit stops, and there are a lot of hungry drivers who want to go to victory lane before the season closes out. It's the Pocono Mountains 200, the 12th race of the season here in the 2024 Turkey Hill Truck Series, here at the Pocono Raceway. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Pocono Raceway here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. We're here in the home state of Turkey Hill now. We were at Dover last week, we're at Pocono this week, my 2 home tracks, and very excited for this race as always. One of my favorite tracks to run in the game as well, because we always get some great races here at the Pocono Raceway, and we're going to see a lot of speed, and we're going to see a lot of different drivers making moves out there throughout the field. But they got to make moves around one of the best teams in the series. Team Velocitar locked out the front row yesterday in qualifying. Ludovic Charette, her 2nd straight pole. This is your 8th straight pole as a team, Matt. What do you guys need to do to hold on to that top 2 run and sweep the top 2 positions here today in this 20-lap race?
Well, I think the biggest thing will come down to probably pit road, because that's the thing I think stopped us the most from probably having 8 or 9 wins already this season. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, it's always good to get these 2 trucks up here on the front row. Hopefully, we can get a little bit of teamwork going quickly to get the 1 truck down to the inside, and then just keep the 1 and the 2 out in front of the championship contenders, and especially the 2, because this is a great chance to close on ERR.
And we'll have to see what Ludovic can do in this race. She had a great run last week at Dover, even though she did not get the win, and she is starting to move her way back up through the championship standings. But this is a tricky track, and when we were here in the Wawa Cup Series back in July, Ludovic Charette blew an engine in that race, and it almost cost her the championship when you really look back and think about it. But Blaine Keys was the race winner in that Wawa Cup Series race, so no surprise to see 2 of the best drivers that we have on the channel lock out the front row on this racetrack. But there are some other drivers in the field who have a good shot at possibly upsetting the field, including our last race winner of Nathan Stapleton, starting 3rd once again in that 61 machine. That's where he ended up starting last week at Dover, and it was able to get around Ludovic Charette on the racetrack and pulled away to win that race. But the downside for Stapleton, he's all the way down 27th in points. He really does not have any chance at the title, but hey, each win matters, and I know Nathan would love to rack some up for his team owner, Travis Crampton. He's got a good shot at doing that here today. Also, don't count out Agar Bretto, also made the Fast 6 again. This is a driver who has been very quick as of late. 6th in the championship standings, only 62 behind. Still a dark horse for the title race if things go a certain way. We'll have to see what he can do from that starting position. But this is how they line up in the point standings. Blaine Keys, of course, still the points leader here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series after 11 races. He's got it by 18 points over Nicholas Sambidio, so he's not pulled away too much yet. But over these next couple of races, if he has runs like he did in the Cup Series at these tracks, well, Iowa's next week. He didn't have a good run there in the Cup Series, but he did win the truck race at Iowa last year. Watch out for Blaine Keys to maybe pull away and seal this championship early if things go a certain way. But Nicholas Sambidio is a driver who is 2nd in points, only 18 points behind. And Nicholas starts 10th here today, which isn't too bad. That's been a struggle with that team this season, is qualifying. But Nicholas has always finished better than where he has started in pretty much every single one of these races this season. So watch out for him as this race goes along. Leonard Koshmer in the 39 machine just barely missed the Fast 6, starts 7th. He's also got a good shot at getting his first win of the season here today. He is 23 points behind, and the IRP winner from 2 weeks ago, Jack Haas, is 44 behind. Thomas Troxel is 46 behind. Neither driver has the greatest starting position in this race, both on the outside lane all the way. Actually, they're about midway through the field. Troxel is on the inside, but Jack Haas on the outside. About midway through the field right there. Not necessarily the best place to start, but Igor Barreto, of course, we mentioned him, 62 points behind there, starting in 5th here today. Watch out for those drivers, and if something happens to Blaine in this race, which she's done pretty good this season, Las Vegas is really the only race so far in the last couple of months where he has had a significant issue. Outside of that, it's been a pretty good season for Blaine Keys, especially in terms of qualifying. But he didn't win the pole. That's Ludovic Charette in the number 2, who won the pole yesterday in the Fast 6. And alongside him right there is the number 1 of Blaine Keys, of course. Almost got that fastest time, but could not get it on his teammate of Ludovic Charette. But let's see what she can do there, starting from the pole position for a second straight week. We'll see if she gets her second win of the season. Nathan Stapleton to the inside of Caleb Rose. Great qualifying effort for Caleb Rose and Broke Boys Garage. This team is another team that has struggled this season, though Caleb is 17th in points. He could have an opportunity at a possible upset win. You got Agar Bretto and Logan Williams there in row number 3. And then you got Leonard Kochmer in the 39 machine to the inside of Bryce Egan. A great qualifying effort for Bryce Egan, starting in the top 10. How about Joe Rutkowski? This is the driver who finished second in the points last year, and he is far from second in the points this year, all the way down 31st in the standings, but he's got a good qualifying effort. So does his teammate Philip Torres right behind him. Rutkowski starts on the inside, Nicholas Samudio there in row number 5. Well, Matt, if your 2 drivers starting on the front row, is it going to be one of those guys getting it done here today, or will it be somebody else winning here at the Tricky Triangle?
I think they're going to finish in the positions they start. I let me phrase that in the order of how they finish. I don't know how they will, but I think I think a 1-2 finish is on the cards here today for us.
We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Of course, even though you guys are not leading in the owner standings, it has definitely felt like yours is the team to beat this season, and you have a good opportunity at pulling away from Echo Evans Ross's team, with Kochmer starting 7th and Troxel all the way down, I believe in the 19th starting position alongside Jack Haas right there. Not necessarily where those guys wanted to start here today, but it's 20 laps. There is a lot of time to move up through the field, especially if you have a fast truck, and if you play the strategy right on pit lane, you definitely have a good opportunity at getting up front and having a shot at the race victory. Here we go. We're in the home state of Turkey Hill. We're in the Keystone State. Love being here at the Pocono Raceway, and we're ready to get this one started. Ludovic Charette and Blaine Keys on the front row. We're green flag racing in the Pocono Mountains 200. Well, it was a good jump there for Ludovic Charette at the start. No surprise there. Good jump for Nathan Stapleton as well. Looking to go back-to-back here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series with Blaine Keys. Knows he's got a good opportunity at getting his 4th win of the season. Has not won in a month in this series. His last win came at Charlotte when he led every single lap there. He's back to the inside of Nathan Stapleton for 2nd place, and Agar Bretto looking to follow suit in the 13. Leonard Kochmer, Logan Williams, Caleb Rose fell back just a little bit right there. Philip Torres inside the top 10 with Matthew Hubert and Bryce Egan rounding out the top 10. Nicholas Samudio still stuck in that outside lane and slipping back in the 23. That's good news for Blaine, who is right to the back bumper of Ludovic Charette for the race lead.
And the funny thing is, over the past, I think I completely blanked on what I was going to say here. I was going to have something to do with the Grattan Industries Alliance here, as it's a 1-2-3 here in the early going. It looks like Igor Barreto in that Web Racing Enterprises machine has got a lot of speed. We see Leonard Kochmer moving his way up through the field, and Triad Racing is up here looking really strong, but here comes that one truck of Blaine Keys. He was so close to, he was fantastic at Pocono here when we were here for the Cup Series, and he has flexed his muscle early on, gets by his teammate, and now we'll see if these two can settle in and play nicely, because they're going to bring the 13 along, and we see this is a track that you can use the draft very powerfully here to catch up to the leaders.
How about Igor Barreto right there? A really good pull on Ludovic Charette going into the tunnel turn right there. Couldn't quite get a move to the inside, but all these guys right on each other, you know. Forgot something about that Cup race. You know the driver who Blaine Keys beat?
Oh, I don't know who that was. I don't know who that was. You know, we were going to go 1-2 in that race, but that's none of my business.
Well, you may go 1-2 in this race, and right now it's 1-2, 1-2 here at the Pocono Raceway with Blaine Keys out front once again. Nathan Stapleton, though, with a good run here today. Still holding on to that top 5 spot and trying to back up that race win he had last week at Dover. Triad Racing as a whole trying to really rebound. They were last in the owner's points a couple races ago, and now... Oh, no! Caleb Rose just got in to Logan Williams. That's Caleb's driver in the Cup Series right there, and Caleb just washed it off the exit of Turn 1, and Philip Torres is going to get around him right here in this 44 machine. Wow, that was a tight one right there.
Woo! Oh, that was some aggressive racing there. And Caleb, I think, is going to be the bigger loser here. As here comes Torres. He's got Torres, Chung, and Huber all lined up behind him here. Been an up and down season for Broke Boys Garage. I thought they would. I mean, up and down season here for Chase Harris's team here in this 44 truck, but not the way that this race wanted to go here at the start for Caleb Rose. But here we go. Nathan Stapleton. Do we have... He's out of the championship hunt. Where he's at in points, there's just no realistic way for him to get his way into this championship hunt. But we saw this last year, you know. So you have your lead dogs at the top of the title fight, but somebody could come along and challenge them even though they may be out of the hunt. I think Stapleton and Triad Racing in general, I mean, it's Velocistar Triad and an ERR truck up here. This is fantastic pace from Triad Racing.
Yeah, don't forget about Drew Webb's team right here. Figure Bretta was also run very strong as of late as well. As a matter of fact, I think Webb Racing Enterprises may actually be closing in on the flagship team of that alliance. The Grattan Autosport has struggled, especially with the 51 of Derek Campbell, but Nicholas Samideo here just outside the top 10. Really hasn't moved up through the field, but he hasn't lost much ground either. The downside is with Blaine Keys leading this race, that point lead is going to be over 30 points going into Iowa next week, if things stay the way they currently are. As a matter of fact, Leonard Kochmer actually has an opportunity at getting around Sam Video in the championship standings as Stapleton continues to battle with Ladovic Charette here for the second position. That 61 might be a bit quicker once again than the Velocistar trucks, just like it was last week at Dover. That 61 machine had a lot of speed at the Monster Mile, and he's got a lot of speed once again here today. And he has the advantage there going through the tunnel turn on Ladovic Charette. Meanwhile, Igor Bretta right here as well, looking to possibly take third. But how about Leonard Kochmer really diving it in there on Igor Bretta? And this is a driver still going for his first win of the season. Never has won a ratings race on the channel, though he has a couple of wins in the Sprint Series. But this is a driver I know a lot of team owners who have open slots in the Wawa Cup Series next season are looking at. Look at Aaron Abel's team there. That 41 that Blaine Keys won 6 races in is open. And Team Williams also has a slot as well. And the way things are looking, it's looking like one of your Alliance team owners of Max Davis is going to have a team in the Cup Series next season as well, with how strong Parker Davis Enterprises has run this season, though they are not running well here today. What is up with Jack Haas? He has fallen all the way back outside the top 30 after winning an IRP a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this is a weird showing from the PDE gang. I don't fully know where the speed has been, but they've been really strong, and obviously they haven't clinched the Cup spot yet. But they are. I mean, they're sitting top 5 in points. The only teams ahead of them right now, and the teams they're fighting for the owners' points is Evans Ross Racing, Team Velocistar, and Grattan Autosport. So I think that goes to say a lot about the pace that Parker Davis Racing Enterprises has had. Sam Media's working his way up through the field here. I think he's got to really think about being one of the first trucks to go down pit road and try and see if he can get just a clean, quick outlap and move his way up through the field. Thomas Troxel staying with him. This is definitely a good rebound run for him, because that run at Dover was honestly a disaster. You got Rogel Dorn there, also in the top 10 in points, but here we go. Nathan Stapleton, second week in a row. He's going to take it to the Velocistar trucks here. He got by the 2, and now he's going to go by the 1. I think we're going to have a new leader here at the stripe.
It's going to be close. I think Blaine's going to slightly have the advantage at the stripe, but Stapleton, if he keeps that inside going in the 1, he's going to take the lead away, and he'll be the leader next time around. How about this team? You know, Triad Racing, we talked about it all last week at Dover, how this team has been way worse in the owner standings and just running in these races than they should be. And then all of a sudden, it's like a light switch just got flipped on for them at Dover. And now they are competing with the best teams that we have seen this season. And Stapleton will clear and take the race lead. This is going to open the door for Igor Barreto as well in the 13. He may have a nose to the inside of Keys for a second, though that one has a good run on the outside right there. But Stapleton just pulling away now from Blaine Keys. Our third different leader here of the day. Assuming he gets back around to lead this lap, because Blaine has a good run there. But Stapleton will, in fact, lead lap 9. How about this for Triad Racing? Going to go 2 in a row here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series.
If I remember correctly, back to IRP, I mean, they both had some fantastic... the 72 had some phenomenal pace. So, I mean, this isn't unheard of from Triad Racing this year. I think the results... kept saying it a lot. The results were not backing up the pace that they would have at times. And over the past couple of weeks, they're starting to get the results that back up, I think, the pace in the truck. Obviously, again, I mean, they're both in such a big hole the way this season has started out for them. There's nothing really you can do in the Drivers' Championship. Even if Nathan Stapleton was to win every race from here on out, if Blaine Keys is going to finish in the top 5, I'm sorry, it's not happening. But, you know, there's still a long way to climb up back in there. You know, you can still get yourself into the top 15, top 10 if you're Stapleton and Logan Williams. So... and this is pretty good from Sam Adil's broken away from Caleb Rose and Laura Chung in this 4 truck. Again, these two right here I think should really think heavy about jumping down pit road before the lead draft does, because they're starting to catch up to them on their own here. Very good long run speed.
And of course, Laura Chung has actually had a very good season there at Harrisville Motorsports. She's 9th in the point standings, only 4 points behind Ludovic Charette, which is pretty solid. Of course, remember, it was these two drivers right here who were side-by-side at the line in Atlanta. And you know what? Laura Chung's another one of those drivers who can sneak her way into victory lane. It's actually amazing that she has not won a race on the channel since 2022 in this series, when she won 4 races. That was really the beginning of the ratings era here on the channel. Though that was just the one range that you got at the beginning of the season. You stuck with it the whole way through. Laura Chung hit it very well off the start, but she has not really found much success. This is really one of the best rides she has been in, and I think next season in the Wawa Cup Series, going over to Rut Racing is going to be huge for her. I think that's going to be a huge boost, and she could actually make the chase with that team next year. But she's done an excellent job with Harrison Motorsports. Definitely a solid team, no doubt about it. And Laura's up to the 7th position with Nicholas Samadillo right behind her, and they're both within 3 seconds of our race leader of Nathan Stapleton, or maybe Blaine Keys, because this one machine looking to close back in. And it's going to be fascinating to see who goes down the pit lane first. We're closing in on that pit window. Obviously, we're past halfway in this Pocono Mountains 200, so the window is open, and Blaine Keys is going for it on Nathan Stapleton in the turn 3. That was tight right there. Stapleton's going to have the run on the outside lane, though. This is going to be tight right here at the line. Stapleton's going to get a good boost at the line, but Blaine Keys is going to be able to lead that lap right there, and that's good news for Blaine Keys, trying to get that extra bonus point for leading the most laps in this race. But Ludovic pushing Stapleton on that outside lane. Ludovic doesn't care that her teammates are the inside. She wants to close up in that championship as well. She's got to beat Blaine Keys in order to do that. And look at this. All 4 of these guys right on each other. Stapleton going to clear on the outside lane, and he's going to hold on to the race lead here on lap 13. Nobody down the pit lane quite yet. Your 2 guys side by side there with Blaine Keys, Ludovic Charette, and Igor Barreto right back in here as Keys is going to have another full head of steam on the inside through the tunnel turn.
That was a late move by Blaine Keys. I mean, he was looking like Max Verstappen down there at Sao Paulo with that late dive bomb he tried down to 61. This is going to be interesting, though, because I think some of these trucks... Are we about to see some cars bolt to pit road? There goes the 61, the 113. The 4 and the 2 are going to stay out. I don't know if I like that. Nicholas, where are you going, buddy? Where are you go? Oh, I'm sorry. He was entering there. He was about to do a Kyle Larson, I thought, for a moment. It had me sweating over here. This is big for Stapleton. Also big for Blaine Keys, because as we've seen this year, this is an area we don't excel at. So we're going to find out here what this one team can do.
Good thing for Blaine, Ludovic did stay out, and Blaine has a clean pit lane ahead of him, so that's actually huge for Blaine. Stapleton's the one that's going to have to watch out for the 1 machine here. This is going to be tight off the exit. I think Blaine's going to have the advantage, though. Stapleton getting off right there, and it's a little slow, but nothing too major. However, Leonard Koshmer's going to get around the 1 machine of Blaine, and And Stablin's just out of here in the 61 machine. Blaine will, in fact, get ahead of the 39, but look at this. Nicholas Samedeo closed right in on these guys, and he's going to have some good momentum here. Could actually have a shot at finishing ahead of Blaine in this race, but Staplin once again doing everything right there in that 61 machine. And will it be 2 in a row? You know, no one yet this season has won multiple races except for Blaine Keys. Nathan Staplin looking to become the second driver this season to win multiple races, only behind the guy who is leading in the point standings, which is very impressive. And look at that gap he has. Now the big question is, how fast will Ludovic be off the pit lane here? Because she did have a clean racetrack in front of her, and she's going to have slightly fresher tires later on in this run. So we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out. Laura Chung there in the 4 machine going to get off the pit lane as well. We'll see if she gains any advantage. Ludovic's coming off right here. I think Fitzwater is a lap. I don't know what Fitzwater's doing, but Fitzwater's got ahead of those guys. We'll have to see. Did he go on strategy right there in the 82 machine? These guys are going to be very tight coming off the pit lane. They're 3 wide. Ludovic, Charette, Igor Barreto had to check up to allow the 2 to merge back on. Sam Medio's going to lose some ground with that as well. On this 82 machine, he could get sent into the tunnel turn right here if he's not careful. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case right there. Ludovic trying to gain the advantage on the 82, but Fitzwater holding on to the position right now. And that's good news for Blaine Keys, who is going to gain some ground there on Nicholas Samedeo through that exchange. That 23 did lose a little bit of ground right there with those guys emerging back on, but Nathan Staplin is out of here in the 61 machine. That is a huge lead for the Triad Racing driver over Blaine Keys. And he's got himself, across the line, a 3-second lead on our points leader here at Pocono. I know you don't really like to see it too much, but you got to admit, what Triad Racing has been able to do these last 2 races has been incredibly impressive, and especially this driver right here of Nathan Stapleton.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a bit disappointing. I wish we had more pace to back up the qualifying run. And I definitely, we'll have to do some digging in R&D to see if we can figure out where the pace is coming from. But on the flip side, I mean, these past 2 races, Ludovic Charette's having much better runs, which is huge if we want to contend for the owner's title. And end of the day, if Blaine is still going to finish ahead of Samedeo and Troxel, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and complain about losing out to a guy who is in the mid-20s in points, as long as we're still doing our job and beating out the championship contenders. So you just gotta tip your cap to the 61 and just keep working and try and figure out what they're doing.
Of course, this race is not over yet. Still 4 laps to go here at Pocono Raceway. And you guys can probably be glad that these guys actually had the atrocious start to the season that they did. If they had the pace that they have now at the beginning of the season, Nathan Staplin would be the points leader at this point, because these guys have showed up the past 2 weeks and have clearly been the fastest team at this point. And I mean, that was a great sequence for these guys on pit lane. Nathan did everything perfect right there, and he's looking to get 2 in a row here in the Truck Series. Blaine Keys, though, still running in second. You couldn't ask for anything better if he's not going to get the win. Of course, he's led the most laps up to this point. However, Staplin will probably take that away from him. And Samedeo losing some ground here. Troxel just got around him. In the 93, you got Laura Chung and you got Igor Barreto all getting around this 23 machine. And each one of these positions is another point that Samedeo's going to lose on Blaine Keys. Leonard Kochmer trying to close in on Blaine Keys and stay with him this title fight. And Kochmer's actually got a shot at getting around Samedeo, which is huge in terms of qualifying, because if Samedeo ends up 3rd in points, that means that unless he makes the Fast 6, he's going to start inside lane next week at Iowa, and that may actually help him out a little bit better. Remember, he started 10th for this race and struggled initially in this race because of it, and that might be why he's in the position he's in now. But Lord Chung, Logan Williams, Rogel Dorn here in the top 10, they all seem faster than Samedeo right now as he's struggling out there on that 23 machine. Leonard Kochmer might have a shot here on Blaine Keys. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case, but there's only 2 laps to go here in the Pocono Mountains 200 for Nathan Staplin. Let's see if he can get it done. It's going to be a failure, a tire failure or an engine failure. We've seen that happen a lot before. I don't want it to happen, but it ain't over till it's over here. We'll have to see if anything does happen. Len, how about Ludovic Charette making a move on Leonard Kochmer? That is for the 3rd position. And all of a sudden, Thomas Troxel, he is flying out there in the 93, getting around his teammate here. That 93 machine is wicked quick here at Pocono right now.
I don't know what on earth. I have no idea what on earth has gotten into this 93 machine today. He's driven through a lot of the field here. I mean, San Medeo is still having a good day, but he's losing out to Keys, Koshmer, and Troxel here. So that's an unfortunate way the race has just fallen here for San Medeo. That's a tough situation to be in, isn't it? Having a good day and still losing out in the championship fight. Here goes Ludovic Charette on Blaine Keys. If you make this quickly, buddy, make this quickly. Don't get the 93 too much room. I don't know if it's going to matter with how fast this 93 is turned into a rocket ship here on this last run. Man, some great drives here by some of the championship contenders, even though they're not winning the race. I mean, this is fantastic stuff. Oh my goodness!
He went for it. He went for it. He's going to get around Blaine, and Blaine's going to fall to fourth right there. That's good news for San Medeo and Kochmer, but you know, you talk about all the championship contenders and how good of a day they've done. Once again, it's going to be an essential non-championship contender going to victory lane, and for the second week in a row, Nathan Stapleton and Triad Racing, they're going to sweep my home races as Stapleton wins the Pocono Mountains 200 here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Ludovic Charette and Thomas Troxel with Blaine Keys and Leonard Kochmer. So the two teams up at the top of the owners, finishing top 5 here today. How about Laura Chung in 6th, Nicholas San Medeo finishing 7th, Igor Brito, Logan Williams, another double top 10 for Triad Racing. Rogaldorn rounds out the top 10 here at the Pocono Raceway. Andrew Williams, who won this race last year, 11th, Skep Silver, and Caleb Rose falling to 13th right there. Everybody, however, except for Jesse Turner, had a tire issue in this race. Finishing here today at Pocono Raceway, another caution-free race and another dominating performance at a Triad Racing and Nathan Stapleton.
Yeah, that's a strong showing. Stapleton came in 27th in points. Ahead of him to get into the top 20 is Fitzy, Logan Williams, Semedo, Giacomo, Zidell, Case, and Andrew Williams is in 20th. So he might have just jumped his way into the top 20, to be honest. I think to about 18th or so, maybe. So I expect probably about 6, 7, 8 spots gained here today in the championship. Pretty good day here for Nathan Stapleton. I mean, just dominated the race once he got out in the lead. Big lead there at the end. Good day for Charette, Troxel, Keys, Koshmer. I mean, they find their way around each other every week. Laura Chung, San Medeo, Barreto, Logan Williams, Rogaldorn. And all the heavy hitters came out here to play today.
Once again, and you know, we're definitely seeing a theme right here, and it'll be fascinating once we get to the Wall Cup Series to see that theme kind of continue with certain drivers, because we're going to do that range in the ratings at the beginning of the season again, and I think that has given us what we've got right now. But you know, I say that Nathan Stapleton and Logan Williams were like the worst team there at Triad Racing for a while, and now they're looking like one of the best teams here. And another great run out of those guys. And you know, I said at the beginning of the season, you know, I was looking at Velocitar, and that's the team to beat this season. Obviously, they have shown that with Ludovic Shred and Blaine Keys. But I was thinking to myself, Triad Racing is going to be one of the few non-Grattan-affiliated teams that's actually going to take it to them this season. And they have done that the past 2 races, them and ERR, and that's really been it. Other than Fitzwater winning at Daytona, which is a super speedway, and then Rogaldorn winning at Las Vegas, it's been Triad, ERR, or a Grattan-affiliated truck the rest of the season. And you know what? It may just be that the rest of the season going forward as well. Nathan Stapleton won Iowa 2 years ago. Will he go 3 in a row? There's actually a very good chance he could do so, but not many surprises at the back of the field except for Jack Haas in the 6th, finishing 27th. Just no pace in that truck today. He's going to fall back, especially with Troxel having the solid run that he had in this one here, finishing in 3rd. But Matt, next week it's Iowa. Then we got Road America, Chicagoland, Martinsville, Talladega, and Homestead. That's a bunch of wild card type tracks there. How do you think the rest of the season is going to play out? And you know, how well will Blaine Keys manage this points lead that he's going to have going into the next week?
Well, I think Iowa's a really good track for us. We know the trucks are really good on short tracks. I mean, Blaine, I think, probably wins IRP if not for that chaotic pit sequence. Only thing, you know, gotta be careful, Iowa. We saw in Stock Car World Cup a couple seasons in a row that pit merger can be the guy coming off pits can take out the guy coming on pit road sometimes. But no, other than that, I think Iowa, most of the tracks, honestly, Road America, I don't really know. I think Road America is a true wild card, but most of the tracks down the stretch, I think, bode really well for Blaine and Ladovic. So it should definitely be, even though, not getting the wins we want, double top 4, you're not going to see me complain about that.
Definitely a good run for you guys, but it's not over yet. And we're going to have some interesting races coming up. And hey, with Talladega being the penultimate race of the season, and you know how the penultimate race of the Wawa Cup Series season ended up going for some guys, it can definitely get crazy as we get to the end of the season. But how about Nathan Stapleton? Those guys, it's the 61 team. They are the team to beat right now here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, because they have gone back-to-back, and they could win again next week. No one's won 3 in a row yet this season, even though Blaine came close a couple of times right there. Stapleton actually has a good opportunity of being the one who does that this season, wouldn't you know it? But how about this race? Nathan Stapleton with a dominant performance. The Blaine Key's going to pull away a little bit more in the championship, though. Leonard Kochman's only going to lose a couple of points. Sam Badio's only going to lose a couple of points. And one mistake out of Blaine Key's, and those guys are up in the points lead, so they're keeping it close enough right here. But Blaine's still clearly the strongest driver in the field. Next week, it's next Friday night, the Casey's 200 from the Iowa Speedway. Be a lot of fun right there for 50 laps around the Iowa Speedway, and we're excited to see how that one goes. And it's the beginning of the last third of the season. Only 6 races remain until we crown a champion on Christmas Day at Homestead Miami Speedway, and it's going to be fascinating to see how these next 6 races end up shaking out. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Nathan Stapleton on his race victory here at the Pocono Raceway, and here are the point standings after 12 races here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. On behalf of Matt Tuck, I will see you guys later.